Hello and welcome to Recipes from Lilac Dell Cottage. I'm Ginny and today we're getting fancy. We're gonna make quiche. All right, so today I'm going to teach you Mollie Katzen's 3-step method for making a quiche. Now, this will work for any kind of a quiche. You can do a veggie quiche, you can do a meat quiche. There's 3 steps. You want to start with your pie crust. Now, if you don't know how to make a pie crust, go click here and check out my video teaching you how to make my mom's delicious no-fail pie crust. Okay, so the steps, super easy. First is the cheese. The cheese goes in the bottom. It melts over the pastry and it makes this layer that keeps any moisture inside the quiche. So when you cut through it, you're not gonna have any excess water from any of your filling come out onto your dish because that would be yucky. So you definitely wanna make sure you layer your cheese on the bottom. That's step 1. Step 2, whatever filling you choose. And this is really fun. This is where you can get creative, whatever's ripe in your garden, whatever your family likes to eat is what goes in for step 2. And step 3 is the egg custard part. That's what makes it quiche. All right, so let's get started. For my quiche, I'm using goat cheese because I love goat cheese. So I'm just gonna crumble a generous amount of goat cheese on the bottom of my shell, and I wanna make sure that I'm covering my my pie shell, that is, evenly, again, to seal in any of the yummy juices that are gonna come out of the vegetables. All right, so that is about good. Ta-da! Now, for my filling, I just sauteed a bunch of stuff that was ready, that was in the garden. So I've got onion in here, tomato, spinach. Just thought that would taste really yummy with the goat cheese. So I'm just gonna spread that over the cheese. That is my step 2, the filling. Okay, so you can use fresh vegetables. You don't have to pre-saute them like I did, but I like to pre-saute because it makes your quiche less watery. Because when it cooks in the oven, it gets watery. So basically you're pre-cooking your veggies and leaving that extra moisture in the pan. Okay, and then right before I was getting things together for this video, I thought, wouldn't pine nuts be good in that? I happen to have pine nuts, so I'm just gonna put a couple of pine nuts in there. This is a little trick that I have. I buy a big quantity of pine nuts and then I toast them and just save them in the fridge in advance, and I just put them in everything because they're so good. You can't go wrong with pine nuts. Okay, step 3, the egg custard. So this is like any egg custard. It is milk and eggs, that's it. You whisk them together. So for this recipe, like I said, you can use any cheese, any filling you want, but the egg custard really should be this quantity of ingredients. So 1 cup of milk, 3 eggs. That's enough to make an egg custard to fill your entire pie shell. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whisk them together to make your custard. So the thing I absolutely love about making quiches is they make any spread seem special. They're beautiful, they're nutritious. You can serve them at any temperature. Cold quiche, totally legit, that's a thing. Hot quiche is delicious, and you can have it for any meal. All right, so my custard's done. What I do is a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. We got some salt, we got some freshly ground pepper. Here's my secret. To make the custard fluff so that your dish rises a little bit more and it's sort of fluffy and beautiful, I put in just a little bit of baking powder because the baking powder will help it rise. Mix that all in there together. Okay, step 3 is done. Now all I'm gonna do is pour the custard over the cheese and the filling. and it'll be ready to go in the oven. Before I put it in the oven, I always like to dust it with just a little bit of herbs. So I'm using basil and thyme because that's just what I had in the garden. Dill would be yummy with this too, but I'm saving my dill to make pickles later, so I'm not going to use that here. And a little bit of paprika. It's delicious. It adds a little something, je ne sais quoi, and it's beautiful. All right. So I preheated my oven to 375, so it should be ready to go, and it is. And it will be in there for about 35 to 40 minutes. I usually like to set it at 35 and then check it. I'll know that it's done when it puffs a little, when it springs back when I push on it, and when it sets. All right? All right. So in about 35, 40 minutes, I will have a delicious quiche for you. Okay, it is about 37 minutes after I put it in at a temperature of 375, and it's just about right. I know that it's just about right because, first of all, the crust has a very nice golden brown look to it. It is set, and I know the custard is set because when I press on it, it springs back just a little bit. And if I really want to be sure, if I want to know what's going on in the inside, I can take a fork, just like any baked good, and see if it's watery or if it's coming out pretty clean. It's coming out clean, it's not too watery. All right, so this is a perfectly done quiche. Pour me a mimosa, I'm ready to eat. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so that you can get our next video.